Honda's CEO just walked on stage and flipped the script. No new EV, no fancy tech demo, just a quiet line that made every rival freeze. "We've built an engine that ends compromise." Nobody saw it coming. The whole industry is trying to figure out what Honda just unleashed and why it could change everything we thought we knew about power. Some call it rebellion. Some call it desperation. But here's the thing. If what insiders are whispering is true, the Electric Kings might not be sleeping easy tonight. Stick around, you'll want to see why. The announcement that broke silence. No one expected Honda's CEO to walk on stage and throw a grenade into the electric revolution. For years, the industry chanted the same gospel: batteries or bust. Then, in a calm Tokyo press room, Honda's chief broke that silence with 9 words that turned every head in the business. "We have built an engine that ends compromise." The reveal wasn't just another model or minor upgrade. It was the debut of a mechanical comeback, the 755 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine. A unit so efficient, it threatened to rewrite what electric advantage even means. The CEO called it the most balanced power plant Honda has ever made, but the subtext was louder. "We don't need cords to go clean." Instantly, the internet exploded. News anchors called it defiance. EV investors called it denial. But inside the motorcycle world, something stirred. Veteran riders who felt left behind by the electric wave suddenly leaned forward. Could Honda really challenge the silence of EVs with something stronger and smarter? Behind that stage smile, Honda's chief wasn't bluffing. This wasn't nostalgia dressed as innovation. It was a declaration that performance still matters, that the engine isn't dead yet. But to understand how one announcement rattled every rival, you have to see the battlefield Honda just walked into and the timing that made it lethal. Why it matters now. Every manufacturer from Milwaukee to Munich was sprinting toward the same finish line: electric dominance. Governments promised subsidies, investors demanded range, and headlines sold the fantasy of a silent, zero-emission future. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. Charging stations lagged. Battery costs climbed. Riders complained that EVs felt like riding an app. Then Honda's CEO lit the fuse by unveiling a combustion-based twin that could match electric efficiency while running cleaner and cheaper. Honda did more than introduce an engine. It challenged the narrative. At a time when others were chasing algorithms, Honda doubled down on engineering. The 755 twin offered torque without delay, range without anxiety, and power without guilt. Suddenly, the inevitable electric future didn't look so certain. Industry insiders called it a direct hit to battery dogma. Markets wobbled. Dealers flooded forums with one question: if Honda can do this, what's next for everyone else? Even environmental analysts admitted hydrogen and hybrid combustion might not be dead after all. It was a classic Honda move: arrive late, then dominate quietly. In one morning, the company reclaimed the spotlight, not through hype, but by reminding everyone that machines can evolve without erasing their soul. And if that sounded like rebellion, it was, because this wasn't just business, it was personal, rooted in the legacy of a man who built an empire from grease, grit, and defiance. If you're enjoying this breakdown and want more honest stories the mainstream skips, make sure to like this video and hit subscribe. Join the conversation below. Real writers, real opinions, no fluff. Your voice keeps this garage honest. The roots of rebellion. Long before Honda became a global symbol of reliability, it was one man in a small workshop hammering out piston rings by hand. Soichiro Honda believed machines should serve people, not impress them. When Japan was rebuilding after the war, he didn't design luxury toys. He built cheap, tough engines so ordinary folks could move again. In 1946, he strapped surplus generator motors onto bicycles and birthed the first Honda two-wheeler. It was crude, noisy, and absolutely brilliant. That spirit never really left the company. Every generation of Honda engineering carried a bit of Soichiro's stubbornness. When others chased flash, Honda chased reliability. When emissions rules tightened in the 1970s, they answered with the CVCC engine, a design so efficient it met American standards without a catalytic converter. Later, the VTEC system proved small engines could run like big ones if tuned right. Those weren't gimmicks. They were the results of engineers who loved combustion too much to give up on it. Today, Honda's same spirit drives the 755 Twin Rebellion wrapped in refinement. While others abandon engines, Honda evolves them. For lifelong riders, this isn't strategy, it's a homecoming. The brand that built their trust now proves innovation still comes from turning wrenches, not coding lines. A living reminder that progress and heritage can share the same heartbeat. And that philosophy runs straight through the man now steering the ship, the CEO who's betting the company's future on old-school power made new. Everything that keeps my rides running smooth, gears and tools, you'll find it all in the description. The CEO's playbook. When Honda's current CEO took the stage, he didn't sound like a salesman, he sounded like an engineer. His message cut through the buzzwords that fill most tech presentations. He spoke about torque curves, combustion efficiency, and real-world usability. He called the 755 a machine built to outlast trends. In an age where every headline screams about digital disruption, that kind of statement feels almost rebellious. He laid out 3 promises: more usable torque across the rev range, longer range per tank than any previous midsize Honda, and drastically reduced emissions, all without a battery pack. The design blends lightweight materials with smart airflow systems that reuse exhaust heat for efficiency. The idea is elegant: use better engineering instead of heavier batteries to save energy. Honda's CEO claimed the new twin costs less than half an electric drivetrain, promising affordable pricing and easy upkeep. Its design even allows hybrid or hydrogen upgrades one platform, many futures. The crowd cheered, but riders stayed cautious. Prototypes impress under lights, reality tests on the road. Whether it's a true combustion comeback or nostalgic marketing, only time and torque will reveal the truth. To find out, we crack open the heart of this new twin and see what it's really made of. Blueprint in steel. When Honda engineers lifted the cover off the new 755 cubic centimeter twin, they weren't unveiling a gadget. They were revealing a blueprint for the next decade of mechanical evolution. At its core sits a Unicam design, the same philosophy that powered their off-road champions, but now refined for the street. In plain terms, Unicam means a single camshaft, managing both intake and exhaust valves. Fewer parts, less weight, and faster breathing under stress. That design makes the engine compact and incredibly responsive. Twist the throttle, and it reacts immediately, not with hesitation, but with a surge that feels connected to your wrist. The balance shaft tuning keeps that response smooth without dulling the feel. Many electric bikes accelerate like silent rockets, instant, efficient, and soulless. The 755 doesn't try to imitate that silence. Instead, it keeps a heartbeat. The engineers reworked firing intervals to create a rhythmic pulse, something riders can sense through the bars and seat. It's not vibration for the sake of nostalgia. It's feedback, a mechanical language between machine and man. The 755's torque peaks early and stays strong through the mid-range, delivering instant pull in traffic or on the highway. Throttle response favors real-world control over numbers, creating confidence and connection. Once called too clinical, Honda has built an engine that breathes, reacts, and finally feels alive again. And the genius doesn't stop at performance. It's in how Honda plans to use this engine everywhere, from street fighters to tourers. Built for every frame. Honda's 755 Twin isn't a one-off experiment, it's a foundation. The company has built an entire modular platform around it, one engine, many lives. The same heart that drives the CB 755 Hornet also powers the XL 750 Transalp, and insiders say hybrid prototypes are already testing with the same architecture. That's not just smart manufacturing, it's mechanical strategy. By designing a power plant that can adapt across different frames and riding styles, Honda cuts production cost while maintaining consistency. Mechanics worldwide will service the same core design, and parts will travel easily between models. It's efficiency without cutting corners. For riders, that means familiarity. Whether you sit on a naked street machine or a mid-size adventure tourer, The throttle response, fueling character, and reliability feel the same. It's like hearing a familiar song played through different speakers, distinct in tone, but unmistakable in rhythm. Honda once revolutionized biking with modular inline fours. Now, the 755 Twin revives that legacy. Liquid-cooled and fuel-injected, it meets global standards without losing punch. Mounted as a stressed frame member, it saves weight and sharpens handling. Honda's philosophy endures: simplicity, strength, and pure rider control over software-driven gimmicks. Of course, no story about engineering brilliance means much until you line it up against the current king of the hill, the electric contenders. Numbers versus voltage. Electric motorcycles promise instant torque and zero emissions, but the real-world math tells a messier story. Take Harley-Davidson's Livewire or Zero's SR models. Both deliver impressive acceleration, but need hours on a charger and cost a fortune to replace batteries. Honda's 755 Twin may not plug in, yet when you look closely at the numbers, it challenges the idea that electric automatically equals better. The new Twin produces torque in the high 50s pound-feet range, landing right where mid-tier electrics sit. The difference lies in how it delivers that power. Electrics spike instantly, then fade as heat builds. This Twin pulls steady, holding muscle through the revs. On a dyno, that means consistent acceleration instead of quick burnout and drop-off. Over a 100-mile ride, it maintains usable energy without temperature throttling. Electric bikes demand costly software updates, cooling checks, and battery replacements. The 755? Just oil, filters, and valve care maintenance any rider can handle. Over 5 years, upkeep costs are 1/3 of a premium electric, and refueling takes 5 minutes, not 45. Delivering 70 miles per gallon, it proves efficiency isn't digital. Honda answered the EV challenge the old way, with real engineering, not code. And behind that confidence lies a workforce that still treats engine building as a craft, not a code line. From factory to road. Inside Honda's production plants in Japan and Thailand, the hum isn't digital, it's mechanical. The 755 Twin is being built in facilities retooled to balance precision with human touch. These aren't sterile robot halls filled with whirring arms. They're workshops where craftsmen still measure tolerances by feel. A machine might do the rough work, but a person does the final check. Each crankshaft is balanced manually, each cylinder honed to a standard that borders on obsession. Engineers from the original Fireblade program were brought back as consultants, teaching a new generation that precision is a discipline, not an algorithm. Workers describe the project as a return to the sound of tools. It's pride disguised as process. In Thailand, Honda trains workers to master both combustion and hybrid systems, preserving heritage while preparing for any future gas, hydrogen, or electric. When the first 755 Twins fired up, the test bench echoed with a confident rumble, not a whine. Engineers smiled, knowing that vibration meant balance and craft. Unlike tech brands chasing software, Honda proved power is still forged, not coded, a reminder that real engineering has a heartbeat. Paper specs mean nothing until rubber meets the road and riders start talking. The dealer buzz. The moment the first shipment of bikes powered by Honda's new 755 Twin hit dealerships, the atmosphere changed. These weren't showroom queens gathering dust under fluorescent lights. Within days, most of the early allocations were spoken for. The surprise wasn't just the sales, it was who was buying. Many of the first customers were older riders, men and women who had long sworn off new tech motorcycles, convinced the modern market had lost its soul. When they threw a leg over this one, something clicked. Dealership mechanics. Those who have seen decades of engines come and go were the first to notice the difference. One veteran tech from Ohio said, "It's the first bike in years that doesn't feel like it's trying too hard to impress you. It just works, and it feels right." That line spread fast through forums and coffee shops. Riders described the throttle response as old-school smooth, with power that arrives naturally instead of digitally delayed. Reviewers echoed the sentiment, calling it the most human-feeling Honda in a generation. Test rides sparked nostalgia. Riders said the 755's tone echoed early 90s, shadows pure and mechanical. After quiet electrics, the rhythm of shifting felt alive again. Demand exploded, dealers begged for more, waiting lists grew, and skeptics turned curious. This buzz wasn't hype, it was torque, tone, and trust, bringing riders back to belief. But the excitement wasn't only about sales or specs. It was about sound, feel, and the return of something riders thought was gone forever. The return of sound and soul. Every rider remembers the first engine note that stuck in their chest. It's that low, steady rhythm that feels alive under you, the heartbeat that syncs with the road. In the age of electric motorcycles, that sound has gone missing. The hum of a motor might be efficient, but it doesn't stir anything. Honda's 755 Twin brought that pulse back, and it's making riders emotional in ways no battery ever could. The new engine doesn't roar, it resonates. Its even firing order and tuned exhaust create a note that sits right between growl and purr, steady but strong. Riders describe it as the sound of breathing metal. When you idle at a stoplight, it doesn't whisper, it waits, like it's alive and ready to move. That sensation isn't just noise, it's communication. Every vibration tells you how the bike feels, what it wants, how it's running. Electric bikes replaced that dialogue with silence. Honda decided to bring the conversation back. Touring riders say the 755's rhythm keeps them grounded. The engine feels alive, not artificial. One retiree said, "That sound keeps me company." Even younger riders raised on electrics agree. Viral clips echo the same line. Finally, a bike that sounds like a bike. Honda didn't chase noise, it restored soul. Still, no matter how good a bike feels, riders eventually do the math, and the numbers behind this one make it even more interesting. Wallet math. For all its emotion, the 755 Twin is also practical to the bone. Honda priced the bikes using it far below most electric competitors, making them accessible to everyday riders instead of tech enthusiasts with deep pockets. The average price lands thousands below comparable electrics, even before factoring in the long-term costs. That difference alone caught the attention of retired riders, who keep a close eye on what's worth their dollar. Ownership costs tell the bigger story. Electric motorcycles may boast about low fuel bills, but battery maintenance and software updates add up. When an electric battery pack costs as much as a used bike, the savings vanish fast. Honda's Twin avoids that trap. Regular oil changes, filters, and occasional valve checks. That's it. It's service any home mechanic can handle with basic tools and an afternoon. Over 5 years, that simplicity saves thousands. Early reports show nearly 70 miles per gallon, delivering true freedom, no charging waits, no plug hunts, just ride and refuel. Simpler systems cut insurance and repair costs, saving both time and money. For older riders on fixed incomes, it's the perfect balance of thrill and thrift proof that practical engineering can still make the heart race. But as the bikes spread and the community grows, not everyone agrees on what this means for the future of motorcycling. If this story hit home, and you want more deep dives into the truth behind the machines we ride, hit that subscribe button now. Stay tuned for the next chapter, because the road ahead is about to get louder. Culture clash. The moment Honda's announcement hit, the internet divided. On one side were traditionalists cheering a return to real engineering steel, pistons, and soul. On the other side stood the progress crowd, arguing that anything not fully electric was a step backward. Forums lit up with debates that felt less like brand wars and more like cultural battles. Some called the 755 a rebellion against the inevitable. Others called it the only realistic path forward. The truth sits somewhere in between. For some riders, the appeal is emotional. For others, it's practical. But one thing unites both sides. Everyone respects that. Honda dared to make a real choice. They didn't follow the herd. They led with conviction. At rallies, debates became real conversations. Electric riders shared charging data while others praised the new Twin's feel. It was no longer about who's right, But what kind of future fits? Some even wanted both: a quiet weekday ride and a roaring weekend escape. The 755 reignited community and passion. It reminded riders that motorcycles aren't just transport, they're emotion, craftsmanship, and connection. As one reviewer said, the 755 doesn't just move you forward, it brings you back. Honda didn't spark a trend. It rekindled belonging, proving that in a digital world, real engines still speak the loudest. But this garage talk is turning into boardroom panic around the world. Rivals recalculate. The shockwave from Honda's 755 Twin didn't stop at their factory gates. Within weeks of the announcement, the rest of the motorcycle world started shifting gears. Yamaha, Kawasaki, and BMW all began quietly rethinking their next moves. None of them could afford to look slow, not when Honda had just reminded the world that combustion still had fight left in it. Yamaha was the first to blink. Leaks from a development meeting hinted that engineers were testing a hybrid parallel twin, using both gasoline and battery assist. The goal was to match Honda's torque delivery while maintaining zero-emission capabilities for city travel. It was a clever hedge-half tradition, half transition. Kawasaki, never one to stay quiet, accelerated its hydrogen engine program, announcing that it would have a working motorcycle prototype before 2026. BMW, meanwhile, began re-evaluating its full electric lineup after disappointing European sales, turning focus toward improving range without sacrificing mechanical feedback. Suzuki revived shelved combustion projects, Triumph chased Honda's Torque, and Ducati patented hybrid range extenders. Across Asia, automakers echoed Honda's call for sustainable combustion. What began as rebellion became leadership. The irony is clear. While rivals rushed towards silence, Honda's roar reignited a smarter race for balance, proving innovation doesn't whisper, sometimes it growls. But as manufacturers scramble to adapt, governments now face a new kind of pressure. Their electric promises are colliding with mechanical reality. Policy whiplash. For years, politicians painted a straight road to an all-electric future. Dates were set, mandates were announced, and billions were poured into battery infrastructure. Then, Honda's announcement landed, forcing a serious rethink. The idea of a cleaner combustion engine that runs lean, efficient, and adaptable to hydrogen or biofuel suddenly made those rigid timelines look premature. In Tokyo, energy officials quietly praised Honda's move. A leaked statement from Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry said, "Innovation in clean combustion will remain essential during transition decades." That's diplomatic code for, we are not ready to go fully electric. In Brussels, European regulators who once dismissed hybrids as stopgaps began drafting new exemptions for engines that achieve ultra-low emissions. One policy analyst admitted, Honda just gave us political cover to admit the truth battery-only mobility isn't the full answer. California's 2035 gas ban still stands, but pressure is mounting. Lawmakers now consider hydrogen and ultra-clean combustion as practical exceptions. Voters, weary of blackouts and charging costs, want flexibility. Honda's hybrid-ready twin arrived perfectly timed, offering cleaner power without silence. In doing so, it handed politicians a steel-forged compromise between progress, reliability, and reality. And while policymakers adjust their speeches, something even more powerful is happening on the ground. People who build engines are finally clocking in again. Workforce and pride restored. Walk through Honda's production lines in Japan, Thailand, or the United States today, and you can feel the shift. After years of fear that traditional engine jobs were vanishing, the noise of production has returned. Machinists, tool operators, and assembly workers are back in demand. For a generation of tradespeople raised on engines, it feels like redemption. At one reopened facility in Tochigi, a 60-year-old technician who had once been reassigned to battery assembly said, "It feels good to hold real tools again." That sentiment echoes across Honda's supply network. Smaller vendors who machine pistons, bearings, and crankcases report renewed contracts. Local economies that depend on skilled manufacturing are finally breathing again. It's not nostalgia driving this revival, it's practicality. The new twins' modular nature means fewer parts to stock, but more precision required for each one. Every unit demands human attention, not just robotic repetition. Young apprentices now study combustion and hybrid systems side by side, hearing engines roar for the first time with grins that say it all. Across factories once marked obsolete, machines hum again. Rivals retool, unions retrain, and pride returns. Honda didn't just launch an engine, it reignited purpose, uniting craftsmanship, labor, and legacy under one roaring banner. And that brings us to the question that matters most, not for companies or governments, but for riders themselves. What it really means for riders. For riders, this moment feels like a deep breath after years of holding it. The world has been pushing toward a future that sometimes forgot the people actually on the road. Honda's 755 Twin changed that conversation. It reminded everyone, from executives to engineers, that motorcycles are not just products, they're experiences, and those experiences depend on choice. Honda's move ensures that riders still have one. In a time when electric options dominate headlines, a mechanically honest, efficient engine offers balance. It gives riders a machine that can cross continents without waiting on a charger, one that can be fixed in a small-town shop instead of shipped back to a factory. It offers freedom that doesn't depend on software updates or cellular signals. For touring veterans, it's proof that the open road still belongs to those who ride, not just those who code. Honda's new engine is more than innovation, it's continuity. It proves progress doesn't mean erasing the past. Efficiency can come from craftsmanship, not just circuitry. Around the world, riders and clubs now talk about preserving the soul of motorcycling, not surrendering it. It's cautious hope, grounded in realism. Combustion may not reign forever, but as long as engineers chase better, riders will believe. Honda didn't just build power, it built a bridge between heritage and tomorrow, between pride and possibility. In the end, maybe real progress isn't about silence at all. Maybe it's about keeping the roar alive. Maybe progress isn't about silence. Maybe it's about choice. If this story hit you like it hit me, drop a comment and tell me what you think. Is this Honda's comeback or their last stand? Hit that like button if you still believe engines should have a heartbeat. And subscribe, because the next chapter of this revolution is already warming up. And if you're ready to ride into the change yourself, scroll down after the video. My go-to gear and accessories are linked below to keep your setup as